I'm Congresswoman Julia Brownley, and I'm so proud to represent you in Congress. As you all know too well, our community has weathered significant challenges. November 7th marked the one-year anniversary of the Borderline tragedy and the Woolsey fire. Only 11 months earlier, Ventura County was engulfed by the flames of the Thomas Fire, which remains to this day the second largest fire in California's recorded history. These were challenging times for Ventura County, but also moments that showed the closeness of and resilience of our community. We came together to support each other, and we've stayed together to support each other. Back in Washington, we are facing difficult times, times that threaten to divide our nation and members of our community. While I would rather we not be faced with these challenges, as Thomas Paine once said, the time has found us. I took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution, and I take that oath very seriously. And I can assure you that I am approaching this issue with the sober, thoughtful seriousness it warrants. While the news is fixated entirely on the actions of the President and Congress's response, I wanted to speak to you today about the important substantive work we are doing as legislators and policymakers. Work that I believe will better the lives of my constituents, that will make our community stronger, and that will make a brighter future for our children and theirs. At the beginning of this Congress, House Democrats passed H.R. 1 to strengthen our democracy. This bill includes initiatives like same-day voter registration, ending gerrymandering, and restoring voting rights. We passed H.R. 5, the Equality Act, an essential piece of legislation that will provide comprehensive protections to LGBTQ individuals under the law. We passed H.R. 7, the Paycheck Fairness Act, to ensure equal pay for equal work. We've also passed H.R. 8, the Bipartisan Background Checks Bill, an issue especially important to our community. We passed the Raise the Wage Act to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour and the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act. I was particularly proud that as part of our priorities, two of my bills, the Veterans Access to Child Care Act and the Homeless Veterans Family Act, also passed in the House of Representatives with overwhelming bipartisan support. As chairwoman of the House Veteran Affairs Subcommittee on Health, I've been leading the House's work on ensuring our veterans have access to the care they've earned and deserved, especially among the growing population of women veterans. As chair of the Women's Veteran Task Force, I'm working with my colleagues to provide parity to our women veterans and address the unique challenges and issues women veterans are facing, from healthcare to suicide to cultural barriers within the VA and the DoD. And one day after Veterans Day, I returned to Washington to bring the Deborah Sampson Act, a comprehensive, bold bill, to the House floor. This bill will address the many inequities facing our nation's women veterans, and I was proud that it also received overwhelming bipartisan support in Congress, and I'm certain it's legislation that would receive overwhelming bipartisan support in Ventura County. It is said that women are the most visible members of the military and the most invisible members of our veteran population. I'm determined to end that. These are just some of the bills that House Democrats have put on the floor and passed. We've also passed legislation to lower the cost of health care, and will continue to advance legislation to lower the cost of prescription drug prices and address the high cost of higher education and the soaring student debt crisis. We will also bring forward legislation to fund government agencies to prevent another costly government shutdown, and the list goes on and on. I'm deeply proud to be able to represent you in Congress, and I believe the legislative agenda being advanced in Congress will improve the lives of our neighbors, friends, and families. I look forward to hearing from you as Congress continues to advance important legislation for the American people. Whether or not we agree on every issue, hearing from you is critically important to my ability to better represent you in Congress. Hearing from my constituents about issues that matter to them is the most important part of my job. And whether or not we agree on specific policies, it is important for me to hear from all of my constituents so that I can best represent our community in Congress. To reach me, you can go to my website at juliabrownlee.house.gov, or you can call my offices at 202-225-5811 or 805-379-1779. You can also follow my work on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you for all that you do to make Ventura County the great, great community that it is.